The ocean, a sea of life and beauty that has been around for millions of years. But today, our oceans are in trouble. The ocean faces a grave threat, mankind. We have polluted our oceans to the point where life is out of balance. Our global pollution has affected marine life and marine habitats. Now, the actions we have done to the oceans are becoming hard to swallow. We can see here how pollution has ended up in our oceans and affects the natural habitat. Plastic pollution will either be mistaken for food or consumed by marine creatures, killing them later on. Plastic will also affect the animals' natural habitats, damaging their homes, hunting grounds, and breeding grounds. We are killing our own wildlife with cheap plastic. As you can see here, our plastic waste also affects us in our community. Microplastic or plastic chemicals can get into our water supply, resulting in us drinking our toxic plastic. Here we have Melissa Gajardo, a student at UH Manoa studying to be a marine biologist. We will be interviewing her today to learn more about microplastic and the effects it has on our oceans.
Okay. How does plastic affect our oceans?
Plastic affects our oceans because it's a product that doesn't disintegrate right away, and everything has a different limit on it, so it just pretty much stays in our ocean, and it becomes problematic when animals of the ocean start eating it or getting caught in it, and that's why it's an issue.
What is microplastic and is it dangerous?
Microplastic is pretty much the tiny pieces of plastic that have either broken off or not disintegrated all the way, and is dangerous because animals end up eating it and they can't digest it because you can't digest plastic.
Can it end up in our own food supply?
It could, like, I guess fish, for example, like they could eat it, but it would end up in their stomach. Like we wouldn't eat it like directly, but the chemicals from the plastic would probably seep through this tissue of the fish, and then we would be technically ingesting plastic.
Mm. What countermeasures do we have to prevent microplastic in the ocean?
Prevent the use of plastic now. Try to reduce the amount of plastic we use, or recycle as much plastic as we possibly can. At the same time, plastic doesn't disintegrate quickly, so I think the better option is to try to use alternatives to plastic, stuff that disintegrates, like paper straws. Don't use plastic at all. Reusable bags. Just try to reduce the amount of waste we create.
Mm.
We interviewed a student at James Camel High School. His name, Nikolai Martinez. The first question we asked him was, "What do you know about plastic pollution?" His response, "Plastic pollution can last for decades upon decades if not taken care of." The second question we asked him was, "Do you believe you are affected?" His response, no, he did not believe he was affected by plastic pollution. The final question we asked him was, "Do you think it's a global or local problem?" Here's his response, he thought it was a global problem, as plastic pollution can affect environments and is a growing conflict. Marine biologists are not the only ones researching microplastic and its effects on our ocean. Other organizations do the same, such as NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. This organization, funded by the government, monitors our oceans, including plastic pollution, plastic garbage patches on our ocean, as well as the care and maintenance of our world's animals, and how plastic affects them and their natural habitats. This may be a little hard to swallow, but this problem doesn't have to continue.
Plastics can cause a huge problem to every living being on Earth. Plastics can clog up streams that leads to oceans or ponds. If plastics are able to block up streams from the water flow, Any plants that take up the nutrients from the water will perish. For the plastics in the ocean, it can cause mounds of plastics that may be consumed by any animal that presumes that the plastics are food. So could you describe on what you do?
What I do.
Yeah.
I teach chemistry here at Campbell High School.
What's your degree?
My degrees are in biology, chemistry, and secondary education.
So you know plastic, right? What is the chemical compound of plastic?
So there's a bunch of chemical compounds for plastic. The standard is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. In addition to that, they also include various different elements that they can find naturally or they can find in laboratories. So for example, naturally would be like you can use plants to make a plastic, or plants provide the cellulose, which also has nitrogen and sulfur and all these other chemicals. Or you can do it, man-made, where you just go into the lab and grab a whole bunch of chemicals and throw it in there.
Do microplastics still have the chemical compound as regular plastic?
Yes, except that they're super small. So that's why they call them microplastics, because they're so small you have to see them through a microscope. And these guys are actually really bad for you because they can get embedded into your body, it can get in your bloodstream, it can get in living organisms, and like in the sea, like if they burn stuff, if they burn the plastics, you still get tiny, tiny little particles that can free float in the air, and then people inhale it, and it's really bad.
So why is it so hard to break down?
Because of those bonds. So when you make these bonds, they form certain shapes, sometimes like hexagons, or sometimes like just really, really long chains. And so it takes a very long time to break them down, a lot of energy. So if there isn't sufficient energy, then they don't fully get broken down, and that's where you get those microscopic plastics.
Do you think recycling is a good way of like removing plastic?
I mean, recycling is good for removing it from the ocean and like from the landfills, but it doesn't take the danger away. Right? The danger is still there. The danger, if we still burn it, the danger is there because now when you break it down, you're also producing chemical reactions. Like you get byproducts, which are carbon dioxide, methane, and depending on the elements that are there, sulfuric acid, and a whole bunch of others that go into the atmosphere, and then they destroy the ozone layer. So recycling, all it's doing is it's collecting all the plastics and putting them all together in one area, but it's not really getting rid of it, if that makes sense. So what should really be done is just eliminate plastics altogether.
And do you have any idea of how to do that?
Provide other alternatives. So like a lot of companies are starting to do it where they're doing like eco-friendly plastics. For example, they make plastic bags, but they're made out of plant material, and so those can be degenerated. Those can be destroyed and fully broken down, and so it has less impact on the environment versus what regular plastics have. The only downside for that though is now we're destroying even more rainforests and even more, biodegradable stuff.
How do you think you can get everyone into biodegradable plastics?
Probably promoting it more, or making something that is reusable, making it cheap, making it inexpensive, because anything that's expensive no one wants to buy, but if it's inexpensive it's more likely to be used more.
Alright, thank you. China has and still is the main producer of plastic globally, with 31 million tons in the ocean. Although America may not be the main cause as China, America still contributes to the problem, with 8.8 million tons as of 2010 and a predicted 115 million tons by Jamberg University. Plastics can simply be as pens, cans, and garbage bags. With the creation of plastics, humanity has made another giant human footprint on Earth. With a surplus of plastics on Earth, we think that we can just simply throw away the plastics and it's gone and done. Though it's not simple as gone and done. Plastics will always be here, even if we can't see it. That is why we need every one of us to start using plastic smartly. It can be as simple as recycling, or imaginatively as finding new ways and purposes of using plastics.